And 3 years after pulling out of Iraq, the U.S. is launching airstrikes in the country using drones and fighter jets against terrorist groups. And President Obama says this fight is far from over. Before leaving for vacation, the president said the strikes have successfully destroyed arms and equipment used by the Islamic militants. Since June, large parts of northern Iraq have been captured, which caused thousands of religious minorities to flee into the mountains. So once again, the U.S. is drawn back to a fight in Iraq. That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on Facebook and Twitter. Joining us live in the newsroom is Fox 26 legal analyst Chris Tritico, Fox 26 news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bali. How are you guys doing?
Doing
We're
great.
fine.
You know, there's times when you want to be right and times when it's a shame that you are. And this is one of the times when I'm ashamed to say that I was right 11, 12 years ago when I said it's going to be a very, very long time before the United States gets us out of Iraq. We can try all we want, but we destabilized that country when we attacked them. And now when they're in the middle of this civil war and about to lose everything, the United States has no choice, the president had no choice, but to go back in and try to help them take control back over this country, Mustafa Tamiz.
Yeah, it's always easier to get into war than to get out of it, and so what we're facing now is a difficult time in terms of what is it that we do, because with the military airstrikes, you can only hold these people back so much, because eventually you're going to have to put some troops on the ground if the Iraqis aren't able to defend themselves.
President's going to be very difficult for the president to get authority to put troops on the ground over there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want it as his residents and citizens. He's made it clear he doesn't want, that's not the route he wants to go to. He said he wants to have an air campaign versus an airstrike. He's very selective in what he's saying because he's getting his, intelligence is filling him in, and he did say this is going to take quite a few years. The thing is, these are thugs. I mean, these are worse than thugs. They celebrate slaughtering. I mean, I saw earlier that they now have a social media. They're on social media and they're recruiting youngsters because it's cool to be part of this horrible group.
But if he can't take control in an air campaign, is he going to have to send troops in?
I hope not. I would predict that what we should do is give our armory and give some weaponry to the Kurds, since the Maliki government took it away from them to begin with, and let them try to get some kind of resolution. But our goal is to make sure that we don't put our soldiers and put our armed forces on the ground.
And I think Jackie's right about that. The United States public does not support another ground war
No.
in Iraq. But and the Kurds have been the people that have been pulled back and forth in this whole situation since we started this war. And the problem with arming the Kurds is Turkey, isn't it?
It's not just, it used to be, but the Kurds are now probably have the best military there, the best trained, best equipped military there. However, they weren't able to hold back the militants. So the challenge you run into is in terms of continuing to arm people. They already have the weaponry, so it's not new weaponry they would provide. And the other thing is that in Syria it was the same issue. We were arming people against Assad, and that was the big push. The same people that we're trying to arm in Syria are now
These people.
These people that are attacking the Kurds. So
That's happened time and time again.
yes.
Let me go to Hillary. She's monitoring our social media.
Yeah, that's right. And Jackie, you were just speaking about this. What can you tell people about their concern over possibly sending troops back overseas? I mean, is it something you can even calm fears in people?
Well, the problem is we've had over 10 years of war. The American public is very, very tired of it, Jackie Valley, and that was the reason that President Bush, before he left office, had the plan in place to pull them out.
Yeah, with the American public, we don't want to get into another war, especially another war that we had no issue getting into in the first place. But I will say this. The president has said, well, we want the government to resolve their own issues. They don't have a government. And
Right.
and that's really the dilemma for the president and the decisions as he moves on and continues. Since they don't have a government to resolve their own issues, do we go in there and assist them? Do we give the Kurds, as we've been discussing, the weaponry to assist themselves? Or do we just sit back and do nothing?
The problem with that, though, is while they have a very ineffective government, I think, as Jackie's saying, Maliki was elected, and he's got the power.
Yeah, he was elected, and so now you've got this Shia-Sunni divide. It's a very political divide. And it's a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And we're caught in the middle of it because, years ago, Colin Powell had said, if we enter this, it's as if you break it, you own it. And in a way, we're stuck with that we own this mess, and it's perpetual. And I don't think you can just air bomb your way out of this.
I've heard political commentators from all sides say Maliki has to go, and we have to get somebody else in there. But can the United States really go in and destabilize another leader in Iraq?
No, we cannot. We cannot afford it from a political standpoint, from a financial standpoint. The residents and citizens don't want it. The president has not even leaned that way, at least based on his comments so far. Intelligence has told him not to do so. So the best that we can do is just to continue to monitor, which is what the president said, possibly help them in some air campaign, that's the phrase that they're using, and possibly help them with ammunition and weaponry on the ground, but not put our men and women in danger.
Do you? All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. I was going to go back to you, Mustafa, but you're out. All right, that's it for this week. Hillary, we'll be back next week with some really good topics.